Statement. We are live in Studio B with your day-to-day BYU sports play-by-play. I am Spencer Linton, teamed up with Jarom Jordan. It is our pleasure now to welcome into Studio B over in the Cougar Council Room, assistant basketball coach Tim Fanning, who was recently announced. Tim, welcome to BYU Sports Nation.
Tim? Thanks guys. Happy to be here.
Huge recruiting news, so let's just start there.
What a morning.
How are you feeling this morning after some big-time news of some guys, now plural, officially becoming BYU Cougars?
Yeah, super excited, man. I think we've done a good job of bringing in the right type of players and the right type of people, and obviously we got some news this morning that just adds to our roster.
Let's talk about Kanan Catchings. Obviously a dude that's super skilled that you coached at Overtime Elite in Atlanta. When did you meet him, and what is he like?
I met Kanan at OTE last year in September. That was the first time that I met him, and he's a really quiet kid off the court, really nice, gets along with his teammates, and then plays the game with a lot of intensity, which is something that I really enjoyed coaching him, and I'm really excited that he's decided to join us at BYU and kind of be a part of this group.
He decommitted from Purdue. And when you were signed or hired here last week, I was like, okay, maybe BYU has a shot at him. He came on campus last week.
Yeah.
And that visit must have been great. He wants to come here.
It was a big surprise. We were just kind of going business as usual, and then we got wind that he had decommitted, and then I reached out to his mom and then to Kanan and had a Zoom call, and then we got him out here for a visit, and a lot of things just aligned in terms of, you know, his goals. He's a guy with really high aspirations, and he's very serious about basketball, and I think that some of the stuff that maybe is deterring to other recruits is really attractive to guys like that are really locked in on trying to perfect their craft and be a part of something special. And so it was, I think, you know, it was obviously a successful recruitment, and I'm really excited for Kanan because I think this is a great fit for him, and I'm excited to be able to coach him again because he was a guy that I really loved coaching. And so to do that again, even at a higher level, is something that's just really exciting.
Will you dig into more of what you were saying, the things that deter other recruits, like being coached, like hearing what you
No, I mean more surrounding like the honor code.
Gotcha.
In terms of just like the no drinking, that type of stuff. I think that some guys, which is fine, they want to have a frat party type of college experience, and for other guys that really want to perfect their craft and dive in to see how good they can become at basketball, that's music to your ears.
You can focus a little more.
Yeah, you can focus on it. You don't have to worry about some of the distractions, I think, that are typical at other schools. So that's been actually something that when coming here, I thought it was going to be like an obstacle, but I really actually think it's an asset. And I think it helps us kind of recruit the guys that are like-minded, and hopefully, the power of the collective group will allow us to, do something really special.
When did you get official word that Kanan had chosen BYU, just from a timeline perspective?
Last night, we kind of understood that's the way it was going, but I think one thing that we've learned, or that I've learned in my short time in college, is that it's not done until it's done. So until there's pen to paper, anything is possible. And even with the transfer portal now, it's really until they come on campus. But yeah, last night was when we got wind that he chose BYU.
What is it about this staff that is working so well in recruiting? And I know that's kind of a generalized question.
That is the golden question right now.
But what is working so well? Because clearly it is working.
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts at the top. I think, KY with his NBA experience and just the mindset that he has in terms of developing players, I think is super attractive for players. And then I think that he's done a great job of getting like a really diverse staff in terms of where we're all coming from. Like, my experience is mainly international, and then we've got guys with college experience, and we've got guys that, really love getting in on the player development and other, what I'm saying? So I think he's done a really good job in terms of if you came and sat down with our staff, or you're in the room, you got 5 really different perspectives, and at the core of that, I think Kevin's done a really good job of bringing in good people. Like, I've been just so impressed with getting to know the other staff members, and just like how much everyone is excited to help our players do well, and help KY kind of live out his vision for what he wants his program to do. And we're just kind of like-minded in that way, but at the same time have very, very different roads that got us here. So it's been really cool getting to know the staff, and I think that that's something that on recruiting visits you can feel of us just like kind of just good vibes. You know what I mean? Just everyone's kind of in the same mindset of like, what can I do to help this program be successful? What can I do to help our players be successful? And I think that's something that's authentic, and I think that's something that resonates with recruits.
That roadmap that you reference is pretty wild and worldwide.
Right? Yeah. The LinkedIn for you guys is awesome, right? Like everyone's touched all over the globe, which is wild. I want to ask you about that in a moment with Elijah Bryant in Israel, but more on Kanan catching. So you said he's pretty chill and quiet off the court. On the court, this dude is fiery. Like, he plays with an aggression that, like, he'll dunk on you, stare you down. Like, I really love that about him.
Yeah, I think as a coach, that's something you'd always rather try to get a guy to turn it down than to constantly get him to turn it up.
Turn down for what, as they used to say?
Do they not say that anymore?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm getting too old.
I think if that song came on, you might jump in there.
You're assuming a lot, Tim.
I mean, I'm just going along what I see and what I feel, man. You guys got the color-coordinated socks and everything. I think if that comes on, you guys are going to be like,
back in the mid-2000s, maybe, Tim.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But, yeah, man, he's a guy that, I think he plays the game the right way. He's super just loves to hoop. And I think as a coach, you want as many guys like that as possible in the locker room in terms of just wanting to play basketball. And one thing about Kanan that always surprised me, he's a prolific scorer, but he's also really unselfish. And so that's something that I think is not easy to find. And it's something I always valued when I was coaching him, and just really, I think it says a lot about his character as a person in terms of like being able to have both of those things of like, I'm about to go get a bucket, but at the same time, if you put two people on me, I'm going to give it up and find the open man. And so I think he's going to be, I know he's excited to come here and play. And I think, walking through the Marriott Center on the visit with him and the other guys and just imagining, 18,000 pushing is something that I think is really exciting. And yeah, I think Kanan's going to really
The Rock
thrive.
will turn down for what?
They will turn down for what?
It's going to be crazy.
6'9" and long, like good wingspan too.
Great wingspan, great athlete. Obviously, he's got basketball in his family with his aunt Tamika Catchings.
Legend.
And grandfather played in the NBA, and it's something that, like I said, I think he's really motivated to see how good he can become, and I think that BYU was super attractive in terms of an environment where he can just really dial it in and have a great time here.
BYU men's basketball assistant coach Tim Fanning is with us on BYU Sports Nation.
Originally, this conversation was going to be about you, Tim, and then Catching gets signed, and Egor gets signed. I mean, things are happening.
Yeah.
Things are happening.
It is wild. Now, Kanan is a projected first-round draft pick in 2025, according to multiple sources that have some pretty good pedigree as far as NBA picks go. Who's his NBA comparable if you had one or two?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I think he just ticks a lot of boxes in terms of what you're looking for in an NBA wing. He can, slide between multiple positions. He's a very efficient player, shoots it at a high clip. Good rebounder, good off-ball cutter. So I think he takes things from different players. But in terms of like what the direction that the NBA is going and what they're looking for, I would get asked a lot by NBA scouts at OTE, who's the guy that you think can have an NBA, the longest NBA career? And he was always the guy that I was like, I think so, just because. And again, it comes down to the thing that I love most about Kanan is that he loves to play basketball. And I think that's something that, as you get higher and higher up in level, some guys like it for different reasons. And not good or bad, but I think the guys that really enjoy being in the gym and enjoy working on their craft and enjoy the competition of basketball, those are the guys that tend to maximize their potential. So I think we're all excited to see what Kanan's potential is.
Okay, yesterday also announced Egor Demin coming. Russian lottery pick that we've said Russian lottery pick until yesterday. Now we can say his name. This is a massive get for this staff, a kid that is a projected top 10 guy next year.
Yeah, I think Egor is a fantastic basketball player and another guy that really enjoys finding his teammates. One of the things that I've enjoyed watching with him is just how good of a passer he is. At his size, at 6'9", he's a guy that in pick and roll can really just pass over the defense, which I think is not common, which is one of the reasons why I think so many people are so high on him. And he's another guy that I think, kind of like we were talking about with Kanan, like this idea of being in an environment that is just going to allow him to lock in on basketball is something that was attractive for him. And And I think he fits in really well with our group, just kind of getting to know our players that are returning and how they're moving and, you know, their skill sets. I think Egor is really going to add to the group and to our collective play. But, yeah, he's a really good player. It's not normal that you get, you know, a 6'9" kind of point guard that can play pick and roll, that does a lot of different things. So we're excited to get him on campus. Yeah.
Tim Fanning is on BYU Sports Nation. Let's talk about the point guard position, because Egor clearly can play it, but you have a proven commodity in Dallin Hall.
Yeah.
And then you add Elijah Crawford as part of this awesome recruiting class as well. So how do you plan to manage the point guard position when you have so many weapons there? Yeah,
I think, you know, KY and how, you know, how we're envisioning playing offensively is that there's not a lot of differentiation between positions 1 through 4. So I think there's going to be times when we're going to have multiple of those guys on the court. And obviously Dallin is, you know, like you said, a proven commodity. He's done it at this level, and you can just tell by his work ethic and stuff like that he's a leader that we're going to count on. And so I think they're actually going to fit really well together, all 3 of those guys. And, you know, Egor and Elijah are freshmen, so there's probably going to be some growing pains along the way. So I, you know, expect Dallin to kind of, you know, help them get through some stuff and maximize their potential. But I think they're all different, and I think they're all very compatible, and I'm really excited to see, you know, get to know them better and see exactly how we're going to use or allow those players to, you know, just showcase their skills offensively and defensively. But I think that they're really complementary, and like I said, in our how we're talking about offense, it's not super important who's the 1, who's the 2, and so I think that's going to allow multiple of those guys to really thrive.
We'll look at usage rates for everybody and be like, you know what, the final score was awesome. Whatever. It was all good. Whoever brought the ball up the court. Okay, you coached Elijah Bryant at Maccabi Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
What was it like to get to know Elijah?
Oh, Elijah was awesome, man. Elijah was just a pleasure to be around. Obviously, he's super professional and just in his approach, which is something that you just really enjoy coaching, you know, guys that are so locked in on their craft. He always wants to talk about, you know, any small details about basketball. And me and Elijah actually had a lot of conversations about, ironically, hard drives. Because Elijah is a big kind of tech person.
Yep. Yes. And he has his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Always with the camera.
And so we used to have these kind of in-depth conversations about, you know, he's got his own his own hard drives that he, like, you know, cloud serves and does all this kind of stuff.
You're an expert, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy technology and how technology kind of intercrosses with basketball. And as I got to know Elijah, you know, we kind of found out that we had this shared interest. And then he was actually one of the first people that knew I was coming here. And he was kind of like, "Are you coming?" I was like, "Shh, don't." Yeah, I'm excited. You know, I know he's recently got a house in Provo, so I'm sure I'm going to see him this summer. And his brother is obviously coming to BYU for football, so I'm excited to get to know him. Excited to get to know him at all, obviously in Israel. But yeah, Elijah was great, and you know, won a championship or a couple of championships with Elijah out in Israel and Maccabi Tel Aviv. And he's just, you know, one of the things I've been so impressed with it being here is just like how good the people are. You know what I mean? People are just really, really authentically good, and I think Elijah was the first person from BYU that I met, and he was just kind of the tip of the iceberg in terms of now I'm kind of getting to know more, you know, what's behind BYU, and it's really cool.
He's a good dude.
We got to wrap, but in 30 seconds, just because we're just keenly interested.
We're going to bring you on another time and just talk about you.
It's not about the coaches. It's about the players.
Yeah. When and really where did you meet Kevin Young? When did this relationship begin?
Yeah, we coached together 10 years ago in the G League, in the Delaware 87ers. So before they became the Delaware Blue Coats, we shared the bench there, and then we've just kept in touch over the years. I was obviously overseas, and so a lot of every summer at Summer League, we would go to Shake Shack.
Nice.
And sit, and sometimes that would include a computer with some basketball video, and sometimes not. But we've kept a close relationship, and you know, over the time. And I think that might be my phone. So
it's all good.
Hey, it's
live
BYU's 13th
whatever.
Scholarship guy, maybe trying to get to BYU.
Yeah, but you know, me and KY would always sit and talk about just different stuff that we were doing. Obviously, he was in the NBA, I was in EuroLeague. Those are really high-level places in terms of tactics, but they're also very different. I think the NBA is sometimes, you know, much more direct, and EuroLeague is much more, you know, trying to mask things and get you to think one thing's happening and go to another. So we would sit and kind of watch some film, and then we would go to Shake Shack and kind of just break bread. And, you know, it's a guy that I'm just really excited to work for and help him kind of bring out his vision of BYU basketball, and couldn't be more excited for Kevin and to walk next to him.
Hey, we're thrilled to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks
I'll
for
be
coming
back,
in.
guys.
Hey, yeah.
Turn down for what? Shake Shack,
for what? Let's
hard
go.
drives, and Tim Fanning.
Yeah, let's go.
You blend in just great here.
Yeah, I'm excited to be
Thanks
here,
for
guys.
coming
I'm
in,
excited,
Tim.
man.